Okay.
I gotta stand up for this one. How's it going, folks? Recently, I've been locked in, and whenever I can't go to the gym, I go to the pool and spend about 2 hours there just swimming until my arms give out. I'm actually training to become a lifeguard, and whenever I jump in that water, I can't help but think to myself, how many people have peed in this water? How many people have spit in this water? Because when I swim, and I'm sure when you guys swim, your nose is running, and you're spitting out the water that it was in your mouth when you went down in the water. It's gross! But it gets much worse than that. So much worse. Public pools. Now, I'm sure you all have fond memories of going to the local public pool with your friends, your family, or your cousins, swimming around having fun, going down the slides, and just swimming around your friends. It's a great time. Good, wholesome memories. But how dumb we were. A common phrase for people to say is, ignorance is bliss. And this is true for this fact, because what you don't know doesn't hurt you. And what you don't know could kill you. I think we all know how disgusting pools can be. I mean, I was just talking about how your nose gets runny, how water gets in your mouth and you're spitting it back out. Piss, I can handle that. But the rabbit hole goes far deeper than you think. These are the tales from the victims of public pools. These are their stories. Our first story comes from not only a victim, but a part perpetrator in the No Longer Blue of 22 tragedy. This is his story. Got to the old city puddle around 3:50 this afternoon.
It closes at 5.
Get both kids lathered up, floaters on, then the dreaded, it's now time for the 4 o'clock rest period. Kids exit the pool. Announcement rang out. It's cool, my kids go with the flow. We go and play in a little sprinkler area by the kiddie pool. Then 10 minutes is over, the rest period flies by. It's open for the final swim of the day.
Finally, we can swim.
3-year-old daughter exclaims. We get in, I'm holding my 1-year-old son, who's going buck wild. He's splashing and kicking like no other for about 30 seconds, and then it happened. Akin to a frightened squid. Akin to a frightened squid, my son ejected diarrhea cloud into the municipal pool. Now, I have to say, it dissipated quite quickly, but there was some floating debris. I jumped out of the water in a near panic, the dilemma in my head. Oh my god, what do I do? There's hardly even evidence that he shot the pool. The swim diaper got smoked through. It's so obvious that he let loose. Do I really ruin this fine summer evening and risk closing the pool? Damn. I would be so mad if my kid was swimming in shit water. I have to tell somebody. So I walked to the nearest lifeguard and broke down what happened. He sprang into action, told his higher-ups, and they immediately evacuated the pool because of
Poop.
It takes 30 minutes for the pool cycle to filtrate. So because we close at 5 today, we will now close immediately, they exclaimed. Meanwhile, I scurry out to the men's room and change my little shit-covered darling. But of course, no changing station. So I go back to the base camp. And by this time, everyone has exited the torrid waters and searching for the culprit. What undignified little runt bequeathed our waters with filth? It seemed quite obvious to me that it was one of our own. I felt shame for ruining everyone's summer afternoon. But deep down, I was trying not to explode in tears and laughter. I thanked the lifeguards and pool staff and apologized. As we were leaving, they told me I did the right thing, and that could happen to anybody. I look forward to telling my son the story later in his life, but goddamn, do I feel bad for the folks there. We actually reached out to one of the victims for a comment. They wanted to stay anonymous, but here was their story. Most everyone was kicked out before the smudge could get to them, but me, I wasn't so lucky. I remember diving and coming back up for air and seeing a little brown lump floating around, along with orange and yellow film, with even more bits of orange. I thought it's probably not, lying to myself, but in fact, when I heard the lifeguard yelling, "Diarrhea in the pool," I knew the truth. Utterly, I was covered in diarrhea. The pool was open the next day. They didn't drain it, they just let the cycle go through. Despicable. Here's a comment from someone that works at a public pool, expressing a similar experience. "We could just leave it. I mean, we're so glad to get out of the day early. The pool's just gonna cycle it through. The only real problem is when it's a log floating in the water that spreads out like cockroaches to a light. But really, we're kind of psyched about it. We don't really mind because we get to go home early. Last time we got the guy who pooped his pants a box of donuts as a thank you. They don't care. They never cared, and they didn't care. This happens every day. And in fact, in the same year, the city of Sin had a similar tragic incident. The Brown Crown Showdown, also 22. This is the story. Kid shit in the pool in Vegas. Now the pool's shut down. Thanks, kid. A commenter states, I've worked in hotels for 10 plus years. This happens very often. One of the reasons I stopped going to public pools long ago. Add more chlorine, wait a few hours, and it's back to regular operations. You don't have to wait too long before it's open again. Same procedure with diarrhea? Somebody asked. The man states, Doesn't matter. Joining the pool is way too expensive. For the hotel, let's just not do it. Chlorine is way cheaper. In over 10 years, I've seen hotel pools drained, maybe twice. Both for construction, never for health reasons. What are we? Another commenter exclaimed, I work at a hotel and literally had a kid shit in the pool last night. We shut it down, got all the poop out, jack up the chlorine as high as we can for 24 hours. My boss does drain the 6 inches of water every Monday. I think he just does it because he wants to, not because it's required. But however, there was a revelation. If you look at the comments, it says below that one recent comment, it says, by Citizen Human, yes, a kid shit in the pool. I see your username. The man's username being 2x4_turd on Reddit. Below that comment, we've got a serial pool shitter here, folks. Although the original story was less than a few words, it's just a title and a picture. It has uncovered a serial pool shitter, poop producer, turd planner, crap constructor, feces dropper, the first her name, the unburnt queen of the Andals, the Roirar and the first man, queen of marine, Khaleesi, the great grass sea, protector of the realm, lady regrant, the seven kingdoms, breaker of chains, and mother of dragons. A mad pooped, or a butler. As you've already seen, employees don't care about the poopy waters, but neither does the government. This is a commentary from the New York Post, from the local pool that they have there, I guess, I don't know. From the city that never sleeps, the poop pool incidents, and how they try to restrain themselves. This is their comments. New Yorkers dish on public pool pooping horror stories. New Yorkers at the public pool last Monday slammed the new federal warnings against swimming with diarrhea as unnecessary. Quote, I feel like that's common sense, but apparently common sense isn't very common nowadays. Ortiz said as she basked in the warm weather at McCarran Park in Williamsburg. Don't leave your mark, the CDC posted on Twitter. Ahead of the July 4th weekend, the CDC posted a series of colorful graphics warning against the dangers of swimming while suffering from diarrhea, including a gif of a gleeful child going down the slide, leaving an unmistakable brown streak in her wake. Quote, that's everyone's day messed up. I drain half the pool, fill it with chlorine, gotta send the robots in, clean it up. It's just messing people's fun. Gesturing towards the children splashing in the pool, saying they're probably holding it in. At any very moment, they just need the extra reminder. Quote, let them know y'all can't be running back in the pool if you gotta go do. Go opt that off, the worker said. Another quote coming from a worker saying, it's always a worry, you know? Nobody wants to poop their pants. 2 years ago, Denise, R44, knows stomach-churning dangers of pool dumps all too well, and keeps her guard up anytime she wades in. 2 years ago, she went at a public drink in Rockland County when everyone was forced to evacuate after an errant turd was spotted in the waters. That was it for me. I was done with getting in the water. Another quote from an employee saying, "You got little kids. They can't control it, man. That's why they try to stay away. I don't let my hair get wet. I don't let water in my face. Let me tell you something." He went on. Another quote from somebody else says, "I am not going back," he said to himself. And finally, with all my investigations, is all summed up with the commentary of one lady named Esqueakiel, 19 years old. She says, "Disgusting. People don't care." So next time you're at a public pool, think about how at all times somebody could be holding it in, fighting for their life, and you could be the next victim. So remember, kids, always swim private. That's about it. See ya.